everyone to Paychex Flex Time Training. I'll be your trainer today. My name is Daisy Livingston. This session is going to be approximately 45 minutes. I'll be stopping periodically to answer any questions that you may have. We will be going over a navigational review of the application. From there, we'll go ahead and visit the employee functionality and what an employee can do on the employee dashboard, such as clocking in or requesting time off. But our main focus of this session is going to be on the employee's assigned manager or supervisor, what your daily processes and best practices are for managing your employees' time cards, as well as their requests for time off. I'm going to demonstrate how to generate and to schedule reports. And before we end, I want to show you the training resources you have available with the application. Now, your administrator will provide a link and login credentials for the live application. So as I go ahead and transition from environment you'll now see that I'm actually logged in as a manager here on your application. All right. First login, you'll land on what we call the manager dashboard. Here in the upper right-hand corner, this is our user guide. Here's where you can toggle back and forth from your employee dashboard for your own personal information and the employee dashboard. You'll also have the ability to change your password and, of course, log out. The employee dashboard, the manager dashboard, we landed on the home page. And here on the home page, you see that we have two widgets, a large widget and a small widget. Here on the large widget, and on the status board, and here on the status board, all the employees who report to you will be listed, and they'll show the status of it, whether they're absent, or they're clocked in or out, or they on a meal. It'll show any last transactions that they completed, and if they left a note for you on that last transaction. The employee, the missing punches and exceptions. Here is going to list all of my employees with missing punches. You'll have the ability to edit those missing punches right from this screen just by clicking on the pencil. When you click there, it'll take you right to that employee's time card where you can edit that punch. Also have the summary widget, and here it breaks down the employee's hours by day, for their scheduled or non-scheduled. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner of the large widget, it's going to be a little gear. That gear lets us know that we can configure what we're able to see and we can customize what it is that we want to appear on here. We also have the filter where we can filter out employees, a filter. Small widget, you'll find it on the summary. And here's where this is more of a comparison where we'll compare either a previous week with a current week. We can even do it for long terms, such as for a previous month with the current month. Okay. You'll also have the ability to see the transaction log. And this is the last time an employee has either clocked in or out using the web, and tell you the type of punch that they completed. Here it says the type. You'll see the legend right down here, and here's where Ms. Stark has actually clocked in because it says CI. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see 5 icons, and they're called our quick action icons. They're called quick action icons because these items need to be processed before payroll can be completed. First icon is the stop sign, and that is for missing punches. A missing punch is when an employee has either clocked in or has either clocked in but failed to clock out. So if they not complete that punch in the required sequence, it's going to show as a missing punch. Our next icon is going to be exceptions. This is when an employee has either clocked in or out or taken a meal break outside of their scheduled work hours. Our next icon is alerts, and that's a very broad notification. This will let you know if an employee has, say, an upcoming birthday or a work anniversary. Icon is going to be our time off request. And here you'll see that with that bubble that shows that I have 4 pending time off requests that I need to go in to either approve or deny. Last icon is the messaging icon. And this is where I can message either my employee to report directly to me or to the administrator. My employees can also message back to their supervisor. The only restriction is that an employee cannot message other employees, and managers cannot message other managers. You can only message those employees who report directly to you or administrator, and employees can only message the manager that they report to. Before we move on to employee dashboard, I do want to stop over and see if there's any questions about the navigational review that we just completed on the manager dashboard. Good. Okay, cool. Then I'll go ahead. I'll put your link back on mute, and now I'll take a look at the employee dashboard. To my employee dashboard, I'm going to go back to my user guide and just simply click on employee dashboard. This is the page that employees will see once they log into the application. They'll have their quick punches that's located in the very top in the gray box. You'll see this employee, Daisy, has already clocked in, but had not, the clock in icon would be forward. Since she's already clocked in, the clock out icon is now going to push forward because that is the next punch that is required in the required sequence. The employee can either clock in, begin, or end a meal, and they also have the ability to transfer from one department to another. Right? You'll see that we have 6 very large icons. The first icon is the action icon, and he's also where an employee can either clock in or out or transfer. When an employee clocks in here, they now have the ability to leave a note for the manager. Go ahead and click Save. My supervisor will now be able to see that note that I left for them. Okay. This icon is our scheduled icon. Here, the employee can pull up their scheduled hours. If their schedule changes, this is where they'll be able to view what their schedule is for that week, day, or month. Can go forward or back and navigate from one day to the other by using the toggle keys at the very top. Again, I can move from a previous day to the following day, and again, I can view this either for the month, for the week, or for the day. I also have the ability to see it in a list form, where it can show me in a list form what my schedule in and my scheduled time out is for. Next icon is going to be our time off request. It's where an employee can request time off in application. You'll at the very top of this screen, we'll see how many hours and what off balances or off policies that the employee is assigned to, and it'll show their balance at time off. On the bottom portion, it'll show any requested time off that they have placed in, and under status, it'll show whether or not it's been requested, approved, or denied. Just time off on the employee dashboard, I'm going to simply click on Time Off Request in the upper left-hand corner. I just need to go in and select the type of time request that I need. I'm looking for that time off request to be for and total hours that I'll need per day. If I take more than 1 day, I'll put in the beginning date, and the second date range will be my end date. I either include or exclude weekends, and I can leave a note. Manager. We click Submit. Now see that it is now requested, and once this manager has approved it, it'll now show as approved or denied. When you got a little piece of paper underneath employee notes or manager notes, click on it, it'll simply show me what that note was that was left either by the manager or the supervisor. If we decide that they don't need that time off, they can cancel that time off request simply by clicking on the delete. If the time off request has not been approved, it will simply just go away. If it's been approved, the status will change from approved to canceled. Employees also have the ability to view the time off calendar. Here's where they can see whether or not, how many other employees requested that time off on that certain day. So as you can see, I can not see the employee who requested the time off, just that there's been an employee who has requested time off for the 9th. This icon that we're going to talk about is going to be our messages. Again, this is where an employee can message their manager, or a manager can message their employee to report directly to them. To that I'm simply going to click on the box and it'll show me the message. I can also reply to that message or simply delete it. Our next icon is going to be the time card. Here at time card, this is where an employee can approve their own time card. Now, this will stay, you either do the previous pay period or current pay period. As long as you're using the application, those time cards are going to stay listed here as history. Right? For an employee to approve their time card, all they simply need to do is check the box right to the right of the shift that they worked. If you'll check here to approve my punch for Monday, I simply check that box. I also approve all by selecting the little box at the bottom of Approve All. Right? Here, next to where I've approved, you'll see either a gray or a green little sphere. The green sphere means that the manager has approved a portion of the time card. A gray sphere means that the manager has not approved that card. Next icon and last icon is going to be reports icon. Here, an employee can run reports on own personal information. The icon the reports that are available are the time card report and the schedule report. To run a report, they simply select the report name and enter the date range and the type of format that they want that to come in as. Once they completed that, they simply click Run. To then generate, and once I want to see that report, I simply click on that report, and then a secondary window will pop up to show me that information. Before we head back to Manager Dashboard, I do want to go ahead and take the line off of mute and see if any questions that we had regarding the employee dashboard.
Does your associate need to approve the time
excellent question. So let me make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Does employee have to approve their time card in order for us to complete payroll? An employee does not need to approve their time card in order for you to process payroll, but it is a good best practice. That way the employee can see if there's any missed punches, or they can make sure that their time card is the way they need it to be, and can message their supervisor manager if there's any errors that they see on their time card to be corrected. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Perfect. Were there any other questions that we had?
I have a question. Can the associate go in and edit hours if they missed a punch, or can only the manager?
Associate edit their punches. No, an employee would not be able to edit their punches. The way we have the system set up, they do not have that ability to edit punches. Question?
Thanks.
Items that we had on the employee dashboard.
If an associate makes a change, and a PTO day requested and canceled it, does that automatically change in the schedule?
Well, let me ask a question. So if they requested time off and then they canceled it, will that show on scheduled time be removed from their scheduled time off? Yes, it will. So it'll put the hours back on, and it won't show as approved time off or time off request any longer. It'll be canceled. Did that question?
Follow-up would be, if they requested off an entire day, what would happen that day? Would they just be left as a unscheduled day, or would it schedule it for work?
Once you get into schedules on the manager's dashboard, I'll be able to show you in more detail how that schedule will still, that their original schedule will still be there.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? All right, then go ahead and place the line back on mute, and we'll go and deep dive into the manager's dashboard. Again, I'm just going to use the user menu to toggle over to my manager's dashboard. Now, talked about the small widget and the large widget. Let's talk about each one of the screens that are listed here on the menu bar. Here in the employee screen, a list of all of the employees who list directly to me, and I'm able to see the employee's profile. Here on the employee profile, it's going to give me their demographic information, as well as any policies, pay policies that they are assigned to accruals, and also have the ability here under Access to change an employee's password. So here, all I need to do, if I can just get to that, perfect. All I do is simply click on Change Password. A secondary window will pop up, and I'll be able to reset that employee's password so that they can gain access to the application. Employee time cards, this is where we'll be spending the majority of our time as managers. Here I can edit or fix a punch for an employee. You notice as I go to the time card on my list of employees, it will show me any employees who have missed punchings with that stop sign icon that represents missed punches. Now, I can correct a missed punch in several ways. Again, from the home page, punches and exceptions, I simply click on that pencil that will take me to the time card. I can also correct missed punches simply by clicking on the one of the quick action icons for missing punches. It'll give a list of all of the missing punches for that employee, And I can edit those punches from here simply by clicking on the pencil sign. It's down, and here's where I can go in and edit that punch. It will give me a recommendation time based off of their schedule of when that punch should be, and then I can simply click Apply. The time will then update, and the punch will then go away. From the time card sheet, you'll see for those missing punches, I'll have a red box. That's where that missing punch is located. To add missing punch, again, I can click on the pencil sign. It will open it up and allow me to enter in that correct time. And I can simply click Save. Then update, and it'll show that I no longer have that missing punch. Also click directly into the red square. Give calendar and a recommendation time, again, based off of their schedule. Simply click Save. The card has now updated, and the missing punch is gone. Completed all of my missing punches, and at the end of the pay period, I can now approve my time cards. To my time cards, I want to make sure that I'm on the correct pay period for my employees. We'll give those employees who report directly to me, and to approve that employee, I'm simply going to check the box to the left of their name. Next, here at the top, it'll show how many employees have approved their own time card, and we'll see a graph of how many time cards that I have approved. Here you'll see whether or not an employee, manager, the manager too, or the admin has approved that time card. You'll notice for Mr. John Snow, it doesn't even give me the ability to approve his time card because he has missing punches. To correct those missing punches, I can simply click on his name. It'll take me to his time card, and then go in and correct those punches. Once corrected those punches, I can approve his time card. So I've approved all of my employees' time card. It can do the process of either the second manager or administrator approving those time cards. Now, employees are going to have schedules. In schedule tab, you can view, or you can make one-off edits for those schedules. Okay. Here, my employees are working from 8 to 3:45, but I can change that schedule just by taking a cursor and dragging to change that schedule. I add I can add a new shift simply by taking my cursor and dragging and holding. By right-clicking, I can mail or transfer. So delete a shift by right-clicking. See, listed here, it'll show me when schedules for work, for bills and breaks, if they're scheduled for transfers. Earlier about time off request. Here, see that we have Miss Olivia Pope who requested time off. In order for when she requested that time off, he was changed as yellow. But before it was yellow, it shift. So we'd have to remove the shift in order for that yellow to appear. If she canceled that request, then it would simply delete this, which she hasn't done, so I'm unable to do. We would delete that time off request from her time card, and that would be removed. Also see view different portions of this by scrolling back and forth. You can use previous or next day to see their schedule. You also have the ability to create schedule templates. Create schedule templates, you're simply going to click on the Schedule Templates tab and simply click the plus sign to select and to create a new template. You'll then see secondary web. Here is where you can go ahead and in that template a name, the dates, and give it a reference date for when template is going to start. You can decide whether or not you want this to auto-generate and when do you want it to auto-generate. You'll simply click Save. Be the 7 days of the week where you can actually go in and make that schedule. To shifts, we're simply going to click and drag. Add a meal, a break, and also add a transfer. I created my schedule. I can duplicate that schedule. Completed my schedule, I then need to simply collect right now. Assign employees to this schedule by clicking on Assign Employees. This will give me the ability to select the employees who report to me and which ones that I want to have on that schedule. Click Generate Now. Tell it when I want it to start, and then simply click Generate. The year. Excellent. I've got the schedule generated. The tab that we want to take a look at is going to be the time off request. Here, all the employees who report directly to us, time off requests will be shown here. And I'll be able to either approve or deny those requests. It'll show me listed when the request was submitted, the date and time they are requesting off, in total hours they're requesting. It also shows me what their current balance is and if they have enough time to cover the time off request that they are requesting. You'll notice as a manager, you can see the employee's name here located on the calendar, but the employees were not able to see those names on their time off request. To approve a time off request, I simply need to click Approve. Now you'll see once that's approved, the line has gone over and that employee is now listed here. An employee who's requesting more than one time off, you'll see for Grant Fitzgerald, he's requesting 24 hours off. But I don't want to give him the full 3 days. If I select the little magnifying glass, it'll break down each day he is requesting off. I then either approve or deny those days and click Apply. Again, I'll see that those days that he's been approved for are now going to show here on the calendar. Me as my system update. Perfect. We'll see that Fitzgerald Grant days have been approved for Monday and Wednesday, but we did not approve his Tuesday time off. Okay. You'll see for Millie Grant, she's requesting 16 hours, but she does not have enough time to cover that 16 hours. It'll just show that her balance would be a -8. So more than one day off, again, I can use that magnifying glass and go ahead and either approve, deny, whichever date that I need to approve for her. Last tab I want us to take a look at is the Reports tab. And you'll see that there are several standard reports that you do have access to. Right? Take a look at one of the more popular was going to be the time card report. Once I select the report that I need to use, I head and then configure that report. Give it a name, and decide if I need to add any filters on there. Put in some report options. So my time card report, I make sure that I include a signature line, and I want a page break after each employee. Decide what range that I would like that report to run for. If I want to email this report to either myself or to someone else. As long as you email it to yourself by clicking email to me, as long as your email is listed in the application. If not, you can simply put in email to and enter in your email address. Decide when you want to generate the report. More often than not, we use the as soon as possible to generate that report. But you can schedule a report if it's a report that you need to run to either weekly or daily, simply by selecting the radio button and telling the time of day that you want it to run. Then you can decide if you want it daily, weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, or monthly. But for our training purposes, we're going to go ahead and generate it as soon as possible. So we'll go now and hit Run Schedule. See that the time card is generating. Now, these reports will automatically delete if they're more than 90 days old. The information stays in the application. It's just the report that is going to be removed just for purposes. If a report that I really like, I can go ahead and click on this little star here. We'll move that report, change it from gray to gold, and then that report will be listed under my favorites. Any reports that I've scheduled, such as my pay type summary, this report will actually run automatically on its own based off of that schedule that I placed on there. The report has been generated. I simply can click on that report name, and now this is where I can go in and take a look at my employees' information on the report. It'll be the same for the time card as it would be for our pay types report. Here, pay types report, we did separate by employee, so we'll break down the type of hours an employee has on their time card. Now pause one last time to see if there's any questions that we have over the manager dashboard.
No, I think we're good.
Excellent. Great. So the last thing I do want to make sure that I show you is the resources that you have available for you. Here in the Manager Dashboard, you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, there is a training guide. Here once you click on the it'll take you to our training library. Here we have PDF files as well as 3 5-minute videos. So I'll take you step by step over a lot of the processes that I showed you here today, as well as a few more. Okay. You also, for our employee level users, a help file. In the upper left-hand corner will give them the documentation in PDF form that will take them step by step on how to use their employee dashboard. Being logged in as a manager, I also have the ability to see the manager PDF forms that will assist me in step by step in how to aid with the employee information, the employee dashboard, as well as the manager dashboard. Okay. So I'll take the line off of mute to see if there's any questions or concerns or anything that you would like for me to go over again. If not, you're free to go ahead and disconnect from mine. And again, I want to thank you so much for choosing Paychex in labor.
Question, if there is a punch for an associate that it isn't a punch, but it's a punch that was incorrectly, is there a way to edit that?
Absolutely.
It would come up under the sign.
All right. So back to manager dashboard. And I'm understanding the question. If an employee didn't miss a punch, but the punch was incorrect, say they didn't mean to punch in when they are punched too early, they've got 2 punches, say 15 minutes apart, can you edit that? Is that what I'm looking at?
The scenario would be they came into work, but they forgot to punch in, and then they remembered, and then they punched in, but that punch in is not correct.
Okay. So the way we have it set up here, this is where the employee, I'm going to go to the employee dashboard. I'll go to the actions icon. Here, they have the ability to leave a note for that supervisor. Right? And they fix my punch. Now, the supervisor will manage your dashboard. Did my own punch, so I'm not my own manager, but they'll be able to see on your dashboard here under status board that, and they go in and edit that punch. A supervisor can't add a punch on a shift or even add on work hours. Here I'm on Mr. John Snow. If I want to add for him, I'm still going to click Add Shift and click Add Punch. I simply select the day that I want that punch to be on and the time, and then simply select Save. It'll update his time card to show that on Tuesday he has a punch in. Also, add an entire shift by saying Add Work Shift. When I add Work Shift, it's going to give me a clock in time and a clock out time. Here in the in and out time and the correct date. And let me use it in today, or last week. I can enter in notes. I also need to, by clicking a little calendar, to see whatever his schedule is so that I line it up with his schedule. Simply select Save. I need to add a non-work shift. When I add non-work shift, it's going to ask me the type of non-work shift that I want to add on here, the total of hours. In the right of that will tell me the total hours that he has available. So on Snow, he has 45 hours of PTO. I also duplicate this entry. Here, where it says duplicate entry, tell the system how many times I want it to put that entry in. So it'll be this punch plus 2 additional more punches in sequence. And I select the correct date and hit save. It'll know that those entries were placed in there. Answer your question.
Yes. Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it at all possible that the system allows them to punch in on a Monday and then they don't punch out, but then the manager goes in and corrects the punch and puts punch out as the next day, giving associate like 30 hours in a day?
Let me understanding. So an employee misses a punch. For example, they punch in at 8 o'clock on Monday, but they don't clock out on Monday afternoon. And then Tuesday, they clock in. Is that going to be considered an out punch? Is that correct?
Well, no, what happens if the manager goes in and corrects the punch but records the wrong day for the out punch?
I'll show you exactly how that will look. So they selected an in punch, and I believe John Snow has an in punch for Monday. No, he doesn't. Let me go ahead and delete Tuesday punch, out punch. So John Snow, he has an in punch but no out punch. And as a manager, I'm going to add that punch. So I select that add shift, but I don't put it on the correct day. Right now I'm putting it for Sunday. And then select save. Did I make it not? I need to make this an out punch. And show as a missing punch for that incorrect date, and if it was Tuesday, it would show that he had a missing punch here. The easiest way to correct that punch would then be to double-click in that missing punch red box to make that correction. If they do put it on the incorrect date, it's really simple to fix. You just click in the correct in the box that you put in on the incorrect date and change the date that you want it to show up on, and simply click save. That's going to move from that Sunday to that Tuesday that I put it in. Did that answer?
Yes.
Are there other questions?
Flag for like over 10 hours, over 12 hours.
Absolutely, we can set that up in your alerts so that when an employee is approaching overtime, it'll show up here in your alerts. And your Paychex representative can walk your administrator through how to complete.
Send that alert smartphone?
And the question.
Summertime, can we send that alert automatically to their phone?
Use alerts to their phone. That's an excellent question. Again, that would be something that your Paychex representative would have to set up for you.
That's possible.
Yes, sir. questions?
That's all the questions I have, Daisy.
Okay. Then again, thank you guys so much for joining today. You guys have a great rest of your day. Mhm.